Speaking of losers, Marco Mendicino just about an hour ago gave a very brief press conference, folks. It's about this scandal, it can't be called anything else, of having Paul Bernardo sent to a medium security prison, whereas he should be in Millhaven, maximum. I think everybody, just about everybody, it would seem, except Corrections Canada staff, know who Paul Bernardo is. He's a serial rapist, torturer, and murderer. Christian French, Leslie Mahaffey, high school kids of the day. Bernardo and his evil wife, Carla Homolka, who is scot-free, by the way. Well, way to go, Niagara Regional Police. Next time you do a hazmat search of a house, maybe look behind the bathroom wall that would have had the incriminating videotapes, but oh well. So they had to make that so-called deal with the devil. Anyway, she's free and merry, but Bernardo, I would like to see rot in maximum security for the rest of his life. And Mendicino's press conference, he was basically saying, oh, we're going to take steps to make sure this never happens again, that, you know, this government is committed to victims and victims' families and victims' rights. Tamara, I was just on Saturday outside the Parole Board of Canada. There was a demonstration led by Heather Mason. Thanks to the blackface liberals, men, and I'm talking about thugs, who identify as women, no surgery, no hormones, you can now get incarcerated in a female penitentiary, and you can get admission to a woman's shelter. One such individual is this fellow. He's doing his time at a Perry Sound women's shelter. He's 6'2", 230 pounds. A few years ago, he had a little disagreement in a McDonald's, so he dragged a 15-year-old female McDonald's employee into the bathroom and viciously assaulted her. He says, I'm a chick now? Okay, Bob's your uncle, you're in. You're telling me this government is committed to victims' rights? Because this is a misogynistic government. If you're all about this radical trans agenda when it comes to prisons and shelters, sorry, that's not inclusion and diversity. That is misogyny, Tamara Ugolini. And, you know, to this day, this has been the news cycle for 2 weeks. We don't know why this vile serial killer. I mean, Paul Bernardo in the Canadian penal system, he's number one. And I mean that in the reverse, spectrum, that he is the most vicious, notorious, psychopathic. By the way, that's not my words, folks. That's what psychiatrists describe him. He is without empathy. He is without apology. He's done nothing to merit any, to even get tapioca pudding for his dessert in the prison system. And somehow some idiot, probably some wokester, thought that, in the same flavor of having vicious male thugs pretend to be females to get into women's prisons and shelters, they thought, let's show this guy, a registered dangerous offender, no less, Tamara Ugolini. Let's cut him some slack. Oh, and by the way, if you want to know the answer, we're sorry, privacy. All I have to say about that, Tamara, then I want to hear what you have to say. Public safety comes before privacy. Secondly, what is the most fundamental human right on this planet? It's freedom. If you're not free, you're a slave. We took away his freedom. How in blue hell does this monster have the right to privacy? And what privacy? Google Paul Bernardo's name, folks. You will receive millions of Google hits talking about his notorious history. Everything is known about this monster except for, how he gets along in prison, I suppose. Tamara, Marco Mendicino and blackface, they are despicable. I mean, here's the Sun today, folks. Dumb or liars. How about option number 3? Dumb liars, right? I think that covers it all. Tamara, what say you?
It's just another controversy in the book of the Justin Trudeau Liberals. I mean, this is essentially the exact same playbook that has unfolded with the Chinese interference allegations. Is that now they're crying, oh, well, we didn't know. They're feigning ignorance, right? And I suppose that ignorance is bliss, especially when you're in charge of leading a G7 nation. But now Mendicino's office is saying that they didn't know about this transfer, so from maximum security to medium security for this horrific killer and rapist, where the jurors, even when they recount the evidence that they saw, cry and are unable to articulate and I guess understand the breadth and the magnitude of these horrific crimes that were premeditated, right? There's no wondering whether or not Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka were guilty of these crimes. It is clear they are guilty. These were planned, premeditated, absolutely horrific acts launched against minors, young schoolgirls. And this person has been, it's been stated repeatedly that they cannot be rehabilitated and should remain in maximum security because of the ability to, like, the criminal mind of Paul Bernardo. And, Correctional Services Canada has stated repeatedly that they sent this memo to the PMOs, to the Prime Minister's office, twice in March, and nothing was done. And so the continuation of this transfer just went forward. And until it actually happened and the public started with the backlash, and now the mainstream media is pushing for accountability on this and questioning it. But otherwise, it would have just continued unabated. And then who knows what the next transfer would have been, right? Now, will it be from medium security to low security? Will he be go forward next to a healing lodge, as we saw with what was that woman's name?
McClintock, I think.
Yeah. McClintock, who killed that innocent 8-year-old Tori Stafford. Yep. And again, another horrific crime. Yeah. And then the public backlash was so great that she went back to prison. So I think that's the ideal here, is that the public continues to push back, and the opposition parties, so the leader of the opposition, Pierre Poilievre, has been pushing back. And I think we have a clip here of Poilievre calling for Mendicino to resign. And I think if Mendicino resigns, hey, let's just send Trudeau with him.
Oh, beautiful.
What dreams are made out of. Let's show this clip of Poilievre calling for his resignation.
This is not the first time Mr. Mendicino has lied to Canadians. I have a list. You need a list because it's hard to keep track. He lied saying that the police had asked him to bring in the Emergencies Act. They did not. He misled a federal judge by backdating documents. He admitted in committee that the RCMP was using spyware to gain information on Canadians. He lied that the Safe Third Country Agreement was working. He claimed it was impossible to close Roxham Road, something that has now happened. He claimed that his amendments would not ban hunting rifles. And then later on, he had to admit that they did ban hunting rifles and reverse those amendments. He said that the CSIS report on Michael Chong's family being targeted by a former government never left CSIS. We now know that the documents went from CSIS to the Prime Minister's National Security Advisor. He claimed there were no more Chinese-controlled police stations in Canada. Now we know there are at least 2. And he lied about his knowledge that Paul Bernardo was being moved from a maximum security penitentiary to a medium security penitentiary, something that he has the power to stop. So he lies and lies and lies and lies. He lies about suspending the civil liberties of Canadians. He lies about banning hunting rifles for law-abiding Indigenous Canadians and farmers. He lies about Canadian parliamentarians being targeted by foreign intimidation. And now he's lied about his knowledge and role in moving Paul Bernardo from a maximum security penitentiary to a medium security penitentiary. These are too many lies. It's one lie too many. It is time for Marco Mendicino to resign.
Hear, hear.
Tamara, I have to say there is a similarity with Marco Mendicino, rhymes with Pinocchio, by the way, and Paul Bernardo. And by that, folks, I'm not implying or inferring that Mendicino is a serial killer, but there is psychopathic behavior here, nonviolent behavior, that is, when he can look you in the face and just tell one lie after the other, and it looks like he's being sincere and truthful. I got to be honest, Tamara, if Marco, I think Marco Mendicino is the kind of guy that would spit in your face and tell you it's raining, and he would do it with such sincerity, you might just believe it. And I'll got to tell you, hats off to Pierre Poilievre. He's been absolutely awesome on this file. The other day in the House, he made the same allegations of Mendicino being a liar. And I loved Mendicino's blowback. He feigned anger, and he dared Poilievre to take it outside. And by that, Mendicino didn't mean he wanted to fight in a physical confrontation, Poilievre. He wanted Poilievre to say it outside the House so that there would be no parliamentary privilege. I mean, you can basically say just about anything about any other MP in the House, and you are protected from defamation, libel, slander, etc., under parliamentary privilege. But that's how he was doubling down. You know what? I say this, Tamara. I wish Poilievre took him up on his offer, because in a civil suit, when it comes to the rules of disclosure, let's see what you knew and when you knew it, Mr. Mendicino.
These ministers are just completely undermining the agencies tasked with upholding public safety, from CSIS to CSC, the Correctional Services Canada. I wonder what the insiders of these agencies are really saying about this government, who ignores their memos highlighting and alerting the Prime Minister's office and his highest members of cabinet of these safety risks. This is insanity. I mean, every time there's a Liberal scandal or a controversy, I think the same thing. And it's just one more checker or one more domino. When is it going to be that the dominoes finally all fall?
Well, on that note, Tamara, I couldn't help but get a major chuckle 2 days ago. Tamara Cherry, who is an uber woke liberal, used to be a journalist, now runs her own PR company. Bit of a bimbo to me, but she was explaining this. I bet you that there are so many people at Corrections Canada that are in their 20s and they've never even heard of Paul Bernardo. Oh, really? So I guess anyone born after 1945, they've never heard of Hitler. Tamara, wouldn't it be great if we had some kind of a device? You could punch keywords into it and data and prior history could come out. Wouldn't that be amazing if some brainiac in Silicon Valley could invent such a thing?
Yeah, but then you'd have the Liberals swoop in and censor it all.
That's true.
So maybe you wouldn't find those hits on your searches if we could dream up such a technology.
But have you ever heard of a more preposterous excuse to sweep this under the rug? There's just a bunch of people at Corrections Canada that were born after the fact. I'll tell you another reason why that's bogus, folks. If you have somebody in maximum security and they're in solitary, and that represents 0.5% of the prisoners in the Canadian penal system, wouldn't you as a Corrections Canada person be, you know what did he do? Why is he locked away? Why doesn't he mingle with the rest of the prison population? Of course you would. Why wouldn't you? In fact, I think it would be your responsibility. So this idea that there are a bunch of Sergeant Schultz's, I know nothing, I saw nothing. Give me a break, Tamara Cherry.
Oh, Tamara Cherry.
Hey, folks, that was a clip from the Daily Roundup. That is our live stream show that airs from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday. I'm usually here for 4 of the shows. Our Alberta team takes over on Fridays. And you know what? You can interact with the hosts. If you give us a small financial donation, we'll read your comment during the live stream. So please go to revelnews.com/livestream and tune in Monday to Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern.